Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, to the any percent tutorial of Wizard of Legend speedrunning. So, um, I'm very, I'm very upset. I just did a tutorial that was really good, but the audio desynced because I was watching Twitch. So I'm not gonna do that this time. Okay. So this is gonna be a tutorial that goes over everything. For example, builds, how to be bosses, what items to get, strategies, and advanced techniques like room skipping. So, the first thing we want to go over is what ropes to use. If you notice that my text is a bit different than what you're usually seeing, it's because I have downloaded the clarity mod, which shows the exact percentages of damage and exact description of relics. So I recommend that you get that. It's going to be on the resources tab of speedrun.com. Anyway, so cloaks to use. Any cloak is fine. My recommendations are 3 different cloaks. One of the cloaks is not really recommended because it's very hard to beat the game with, but it's really fast if you do. So the 2 cloaks that I want to go over is Hope and Patience. So Hope is one of the starting cloaks. If, for example, if this doesn't have any of the buffs that you're seeing, that is because when you get all the robes, your basic 2 robes will be increased or buffed. So, Hope increases your health by 5%, increases your movement speed by 8%, and damage and crit strike by 5 and 6 respectively. And Patience does the same, except for damage and crit, it gives you armor and evade chance. Any 2 of these robes are fine. I'm gonna do a Hope, but you can also do Patience. I recommend Hope if you are comfortable in your dodging skills and you want to try to optimize your damage. But if you're fine with the current damage but you don't really trust your own dodging skills, I recommend going with Patience because it gives you a bit of extra leeway when it comes to taking damage. And if you're really good at the game, like even better than me, and I'm not really good at the game, you can run with Venture, which increases your stats by a lot. Like 10% damage, 60 movement speed, and 12 cooldown. But the problem is that it drops your health to 300 instead of the normal 525 that you get from Hope or Patience. Now, I'm gonna go over the skills that you will be using. The skills we use is Bolt Rail, Chaos Dash, Magnetic Follow-Up, and Phantom Brigade. Why we use these items? We use Bolt Rail and Magnetic Follow-Up because it is the documented most damage you can do with a melee. Phantom Brigade gives a lot of damage and also a lot of versatility. And Chaos Dash is the best dash in the game because it has no cooldown reduction or no cooldown, and you can jump through walls with it. The current item that I recommend that you use for speedrunning, any percent, is the Pathfinder's map. Will show you exactly where to go on the map, so it's really good. Your idea to how to use this build correctly, you can use the build however you want, but for the example I'm going to be showing. Sorry for the train that's passing by, you can hear that. I can't really do anything about it, I'm living in the suburbs. Anyway, so with the Chaos Dash, you want to try to dash over enemy projectiles, because while dashing, you are invulnerable, since you disappear briefly. So you can jump over attacks. It also has the ability to jump over walls, which is the reason why we use it in the speedrun, because you can skip certain floors. And you can also do an advanced technique known as room skipping, which we'll be getting into later. Another thing, this bar below my health that is increasing when I do damage is the signature charge gauge. Whenever it's full, you will get the ability to use an enhanced version of your signature. So the enhanced version of Chaos Knights will make it so that the 5 knights that you summon that usually do chaos damage will do elemental damage instead. So the idea for the build is to pop Magnetic Flow and just let people have it with Lightning Bolt. Also, a good tip to do when learning how to optimize your damage Whenever you use your signature skill, it goes on cooldown, as same with any other spell in the game. But the difference is, when you use your signature skill, and the bar that gives you the upgraded version gets to full, the cooldown will instantly be reset for your signature skill. So for example, Chaos Brigade or Phantom Brigade has a 8-second cooldown, but if you use it and the bar goes to full, you can use it immediately after. So what you can do is you can summon your knights and then summon them again to summon 10 knights in total. This will increase your damage output and make boss fighting and clearing enemies a lot easier. So we have these two here, these wonderful people. This is Jade. She will give you 200 starting gold if you pay her 20 chaos gems. I recommend that you always do this. Always, 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 whenever you're doing a run, because this 200 gold can definitely save you. Mah-lind here, if you pay him 10 chaos gems, he can select which dungeon you go to first, which is also very helpful. I guess I should go over how the game works by bringing the splits. So, if you take a look at my splits here, it says 1-2, or 1-1, 1-2. First, Sage, it's supposed to say council member, I'll change that later. 2-1, 2-2, second council member, 3-1, 3-2, and then third council member. So how that works is, the game is divided into chunks. So the first chunk is what we call level 1, where you defeat 2 stages worth of enemies and mini-bosses, go to the first council member, defeat them. Then you move on to the second part, where you write 2-1, 2-2, and then the second council member, and then 3-1, 3-2, and the third council member. And after that, you go to fight the final boss, which is Master Sura. We'll get into more of that later. I'm currently gonna take off my splits here because they're in the way, and then I'm gonna open up my my tutorial cheat sheet. Okay, so we'll jump into the game. So, the item we picked up at the start of the game, which is the Pathfinder's map, will speed up our game immensely. So, normally, this is a roguelike, which makes it so all of the floors are random. They can be random size, random rooms, and random shops. But with the Pathfinder's map, we already know how big the map is. So, I recommend, if you have the map, which you should if you're running any percent, it's the fastest item. Whenever you spawn in a room, click your assigned map key to bring up the map. This will show you exactly where to go. So the 3 things you want to try to work on when you're running. 1, you want to see, is there a Nox room or a cursed item room? Which on this floor there is. Nox is this dude over here with the red cloak. He has the best item drops in the game, which is going to be curse items, which will give you a benefit, but will also give you a flaw or a decrease in something. Most of them are good to pick up, some of them are not very good. There's also always going to be an Arcana shop and an item shop on every floor. The second thing you want to look at is where the boss room is. It's located over here. In speedrunning, you want to try to go to the curse room if it's really close to the boss room. So for example, if he was located over here or even further away, it would not be worth to go to him, because you have to walk all the way over to him and walk back and then do the normal route, which I do not recommend that you do. Third thing you want to do is you want to check out if there's any room that you can skip, because this room here, as you can see, it has no enemies in here, which means that there's a very, very, very high chance if I walk into it, I'm gonna get locked in. And how that works is, there's forced encounter rooms, which will lock you in until you defeat all the enemies. You'll learn how they look on the map later. None of these are good. And after we've been there, I guess we can head to the item shop. Don't dash into pits, that's a good thing to learn. We'll pick up this because it increases our health, which is really, really good. And we'll move on to the boss. So, how the boss room works, there are always going to be portals. The portals are based on what items or what shops you've been to. The blue will always take you to the spawn of the room, and you can take it back if you want. The green one will always take you back to the item shop. The red one will take you to the cursor rooms and other areas, and the purple one will always take you to the Arcana shop. So the graveyard here is a signature of shows how much of the enemies you have killed. The more enemies you kill, the weaker the boss will be, but I do not recommend killing most of the enemies because the bosses are pretty simple as it is, excluding Burst Mage, who can go die in a fire because he's a hard boss. So the more enemies you kill, the weaker the boss will be, but it's not really worth it time-wise to kill enemies to make an easier boss, because the bosses are pretty simple as it is. There's also this signature here, which will summon the boss. So we got Grand Summoner. My recommended thing to do in any fight is killing the adds, which is the additional enemies that spawn. So you want to kill them as fast as possible to make the fights a lot simpler for you. So the Grand Summoner, he summons all these balls, which will vary. You can summon the ones that are dashing towards you. You can also summon the ones that will shoot, and you can also summon the ones that will be spinning around. How the bosses work is that, as you can see, I'm currently hitting him, but he's not getting stunned. After he has done an attack, and you hit him, you can stun him for more damage, like that. Now you can combo him. Pretty simple boss. Whenever you defeat a boss, they will spawn a mini boss chest, which will give you gold, health, and chaos gems every time. They can also drop additional relics, curse items, or arcana, which is the amount of the spells. After you defeat the boss, you get to go down to the next floor, and as I said before, we're gonna fight 2 floors, a boss, 2 floors, a boss, 2 floors, a boss. So now I'm gonna try to do. Couldn't do it. Never mind. I'll get to it later. I'm not really good at this rune skip. Summon our knights. Heal with these. Try to kill them as fast as we can. And then move up. So we're gonna hit the cursor room. This is okay. And as I said before, the Chaos Dash can jump over walls, which will be very appreciated during a speedrun. This is really good actually. It increases our lightning damage. And again, the clarity mod, if we go in here, it increases crit chance by 15, 10% max health, lightning damage by 12. This is why you want to get the clarity mod, because you get to see exact percentages. I guess we can check out the Arcana shop. So I went to the item shop before, and I guess I can explain how the shops are structured. So as you saw probably in the item shop, there's always going to be 1 potion and 4 relics. You only get 1 potion per floor, and you get 4 relics per floor. And how the Arcana shop works is she will always sell 3 spells and 1 enhanced version of any spell. She can also have random sales, which is random, so that's kind of good. Now we want to go up here. This is a lock room because there were no enemies. A good note is if a room already has enemies in it, it will not really lock you in, but if it does, it will probably lock you in. So here we see all the portals. So we'll start. Now we're gonna fight Archer, which is by far the easiest, simplest, and weakest of the mini bosses. His patterns is he has wide showings of his attack, and the attacks are pretty slow as it is, so you should really have a problem dodging him. As you see, I'm barely moving, and I'm dodging him anyways. And as I said before, if you are attacking someone while they're attacking, they won't be stunned, but if you attack them after, they will be stunned, which means you can combo them. And just to show the burst damage of this build, he's dead. Boss chest, open it up. Here we got a random spell. As I said before, boss chest can drop either arcanas, relics, or curse items, so we got pretty lucky. Now, on to the council members and also the level up system. So the two things you want to know about council members is, one, there will always be a ruby. If you smash it, they will drop health orbs, so you get to go back to full HP if you were ever low. Second of all, whenever you defeat a council member, the level of the next floors will increase. So how the level up system works is, when you first start the game, the enemies and the bosses will be really simple. They won't have much HP, they won't do much damage. But when you kill a council member, the next floor will be harder. So how level up system works on the council members is, every council member that is level 1 will always attack 3 times, and then they will do a little taunt, a little dance. That is their time to be stunned. So if you attack a council member while they're taunting or dancing, you will be able to stun them and do a lot of damage to them. When the council member gets below 50% HP, she will do 3 attacks, and then she will do her signature attack, and then they will taunt. I'm gonna go over how to dodge them. Also, a level 2 council member will attack 4 times, and a level 3 council member will attack 5 times. Also, sorry, I'm gonna quickly take a little drink. My voice is killing me. Okay, so a council member, the amount of time that they're taunting or dancing depends on their level. So a level 1 taunt will be a lot longer than a level 3 taunt, that's for sure. So when we get into this room, we can either walk in and be very far away from the boss, or you can dash in and get closer. So every council member will always have 2 dialog boxes, which can be skipped by either pressing the B button, the circle button, or the escape button on the keyboard. So the strategy for every council fight is to pop your signature the moment you enter the room, and then you hit her with your bolt rail. And this is her taunt. She stands there laughing at you because you're bad. So this is her 3rd attack. Now she will taunt, which means I can stun her, do some damage. I'm trying to show off most of our attacks and how to dodge them. With the Chaos Dash, you can dash through that. So now she's below 50 HP. She's going to do 1, 2, and then she does her signature. With the Chaos Dash, you can dash through it. If you get hit, you'll be stunned. So the first council member will not really give you much trouble. Whenever you defeat one council member, they will drop a golden chest, which will always contain Chaos Gems, health, and a enhanced signature. So we got Ice Dagger, which is not better than what we have, so we'll skip it. As I brought up before, now all of the rooms will be level 2, which means that the enemies will do more damage, have more health, and there will mostly be more enemies. And the next council member we fight, which is going to be Atlas, is going to attack 4 times every time he attacks. So hopefully this room it's populated. So there's no chaos room or curse room, so we're gonna just quickly dash through this, get to the boss, move on. Next we're gonna be fighting is Grand Summoner, and since this is level 2, he will now summon 2 assistant mages that will help him out. Again, your goal for any fight is take out the ads to make any fight simpler. So how the summoner works is, okay, I killed him. So he summons these purple spheres that will turn into like projectiles that will dash towards you. Whenever you kill all of the projectiles, he will be stunned, and he can also shoot random fireballs. So if you just pay attention to where the balls are going, he shouldn't be a problem. So we got a random drop, the Sleepy Thunderstone. Summons an aura that calls down lightning on nearby enemies, stuns for 0.625 seconds with a total of 10 damage. And again, the clarity mod gives me exact knowledge on the arcanas and the relics and the robes. So we move on to 2-2, and there's a curse room that we will head to. So I get the alchemy stone, which increases whenever we pick up a chaos gem. The chaos gem will be turned into gold. It's pretty okay to pick up if you haven't unlocked all the spells, because chaos gems are basically worthless anyway. Okay. What I tried to do there was a technique called a room skip. I couldn't do it because the room was too badly placed. We'll continue. This is also going to lock us in because there were no enemies nearby. Can head into the shop. This is fine. This is no, let's skip everything in here. So we move on to the boss. So this boss is going to be the Crash Knight. Again, as I said before, kill all the ads to make the fight simpler, and then I'll go over explaining how to beat the Crash Knight. Now when all the ads are killed, so Crash Knight, he has 2 attacks. He can dash normally, or he can do 2 long dashes that will add a dust cloud. He can also just swing his sword if you're close to him. What the fuck? Okay. It does 2 dashes, then you can stun him and kill him. Pretty simple boss. I recommend that every time he is about to attack you, you dodge, just in case something bad will happen. Pick up this in case we get the volatile gemstone, which will really be helpful. Okay, on to the next council member, which is Atlas. Pick up the ruby to get our health back. And again, this is a level 2 council member, which means he will do 4 attacks before he does his little taunt, and the taunt will be shorter duration. Pop your signature every single fight you go into a council member fight, and then hit with Bolt Trail. This is his 4th attack, which means now we can wail on him. So now he's gonna do his signature. I recommend for dodging this one in particular, you go to the bottom, you go to the top, and then you just walk left or right, and you will avoid that signature every time. You might need to dash if you're not fast enough. So he dropped us the Standard of Defense, which summons a bunch of chess pieces. Pretty cool ability. Now we're on to the final part of the game, which is the 3-1, 3-2, and then final zeal member. You don't really need to pick up any damage items in this game until you get to this part of the game, because after you have finished the next council member, your lack of damage is really gonna show. So as you saw here, there was 1 enemy already in the room, but we were locked in anyways. If there's more than 1 to 2 enemies, it's a good idea not to be locked. You're not gonna get locked in. But if there's only 1 enemy, there's a pretty okay chance that you will still be locked in. So keep that in mind. Okay. I guess we can head into the Arcana shop, see if there's anything good, which there is. We'll get Tidal Blast, one of my favorite spells. We can move off that rock ability, and we'll just head to the boss room. I might have done a rune skip there, I don't know. If we get a room that I'm 100% certain we'll be able to rune skip, I will go over it. Or I will just explain it in theory and leave a link to the one who found it, which is Jakob, doing rune skips. Also, if this tutorial when this tutorial is released, I will be releasing also, or I will be linking Jakob's room skip tutorial in the description. I will also add the Discord and the speedrun.com page, and I will also link my spreadsheet that I made for all the damages. It's probably not complete. If it is complete, yay. If it's not, I'm working on it. So, a good idea to learn for 3-2 is having money after this part of the game is completely useless. So if there's any shop that you can go to that is close by, I recommend that you do it and just waste your money, because having it doesn't really help at all. So here we got a pretty big floor, which is, you know, again, RNG, nothing we can do about it. We just have to adapt to it. What this game will teach you is how to adapt. And there we did a room skip. That for sure I know was a room skip. So how room skips work is, if you're going to be locked into a room, if you stand at the edge of the room before you go in, with the chaos dash, you can do a diagonal dash to skip the trigger that will lock you in. And that is how Jakob and other people have been able to speed up their gameplay, including me, which makes it so if a room is going to lock you in, you'll be able to skip it. Okay, we can dash over that. I wanted to believe. Okay, now we move on. We can head to the curse room just for a increased chance of winning the game. Okay, so we got the silver spinning top, pretty okay item. This item slows you down to a crawl, but makes it so you can attack constantly with your bolt rail, which also makes it so when you shoot rocks, you shoot a fuck ton of rocks. So it's a good damage up for this build in particular. Which just now means that we have to do a lot more dashing, but since this dash has no cooldown, I'm completely fine with that. So there's no good spells that we kind of want to get, so we'll just move on. I could have done a room skip there, but I messed up due to having slower movement speed. I didn't calculate the difference in movement speed and what it would do. But don't worry about it. We just take care of the enemies, and we head to the final boss room before we go on to the sages. So again, as always, take care of the ads before you focus on the boss. And the big thing, the big difference about level 3 enemies is the level 3 mini-bosses are able to summon extra ads. So you want to take care of them the moment you finish fighting the enemies. So, since we have so much money, we can go in here, pick up some extra items, see what they do. Reduce damage received to a maximum of 10% of your maximum health, which is good. And now we continue on to the last fight. So, again, now this council member is going to have 5 attacks before she does her little taunt, and her taunt will be a shorter duration. So again, walk up, dash, get close to the boss, pop your signature, use your bolt rail, and then dodge the attack that she's going to be activating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she died before she could do her signature attack. Her signature attack is that she jumps to the middle of the room and then drops a bunch of meteors, which can be a bit hard to dodge, but I recommend, if you want to learn how to deal with all the bosses, you can just start a run, play through it, get to the first part of the boss, like the first boss, and then keep dodging her ability. Don't try to damage her. Get her to half health, and then just keep dodging and dodging and dodging to learn the timings of all the dodges. Okay, so we picked up some health and a lot of money, but it's completely useless anyway. So now we're gonna get to Sura, which is the final boss of the game. There's going to be 2 crystals. The first crystal will start at the first floor, and then after you finish his first phase, because this fight has 2 phases, he's going to drop another crystal. Click the escape button to skip his dialogues, because Sura has 4 dialogue boxes compared to the normal bosses who has 2. Again, as always, pop our signature, do a bit of damage, and dodge his spells. So, how Shura's golem work is that it has a bunch of slow attacks. It can shoot these lasers, or these spears that drag you in. You can also summon these balls, which when they hit you, split up into smaller balls. You can also summon those balls that shoot out lasers randomly. I recommend destroying them when you get the chance. After you finish Sura, he's gonna go into second form. His second form is a bit harder. He dashes around a lot, and he always does 5 elemental attacks and then 1 chaos ability. So he will do 1 water spell, 1 lightning spell, 1 wind spell, 1 fire spell, and 1 earth spell in a random order. And then he will activate 1 chaos ability, and that chaos ability can be any chaos ability that he has. But after he activates a chaos ability, he will always dash to the middle of the floor. So even if he's, for example, out at the top doing a chaos ability, if you dodge it, you can go to the middle and he will dash right towards you. So I'm gonna break this crystal because I kind of want the health. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and now a chaos ability. Now he's gonna go to the middle of the stage. Do some hefty damage to him, thanks to the top. He does a chaos one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a chaos ability. And that is Sura. So I took a lot of damage because my movement speed was so slow from the top, but Sura shouldn't really be a problem once you have learned his patterns. So this game is very pattern based. A lot of the bosses seem hard at first, and once you learn their patterns you can basically play the game without taking damage, hence why people have done pride runs. Pride runs is a cloak that reduces your health to 1, so it's basically just a harder challenge. Anyway, so that was my any percent tutorial for this game. When you have defeated Sura, your in-game time will freeze, so no matter how much time I spend on this screen, my in-game time will not lower. So we dash up. Now Sura will talk to us, and he will give us the insignia of legend. I recommend just mashing escape to get past this as quick as possible, because this is just annoying. After you defeat Sura, if you don't have them already, he will give you a random chaos spell. There are chaos crusher, chaos damage. There's like, I think 8 or 9 chaos spells in the game. So you have to beat Sura 8 or 9 times to get it. After, we just put the insignia of legend inside the statue's hand, and then our game is done. So we have finished the game currently. You can click escape here to skip this, and then you get to see your in-game final screen. This was 24 minutes. That was because I did a lot of talking. It was pretty okay run. So the big things to take from this: you have to learn the boss's patterns. You gotta be careful when it comes to taking more damage than you need. Remember to check the map to see if you can find the curse room, where the boss room is. You don't really need extra damage until you get to around the 3rd stage, because then there is where your lack of damage will really show, because you will not be able to deal with Sura much if you don't have any kind of damage per second boost. So this screen right here shows our in-game time perfectly. This also shows the items that we started with. I recommend, for verification, to make it easier for me and the other mods, that you run through this area just to make it simpler for us to be able to verify your runs. Here are all the items that I got. And then when you're done, you're going to be able to go back here, and it will take you to the title screen. So, this was Wizards of Legend, any percent tutorial. If you found it to be helpful, I recommend that you leave a like. Maybe go to my Twitch or my Twitter and follow. They will be in the description. Also, the four things that will be in the description is going to be the speedruns.com page. That will, if you go to resources, you can get the live auto splitter. You can also get the clarity mod, and also you can go to the tutorials page on the speedrun.com where this will be posted. Also, the room skip that Jakob is currently making is probably going to be posted there as well. I will put the link to the spreadsheet that I'm currently making for all the damages in the game of all the arcanas. I will also put the speedrun.com, the Discord for this game, and also the Discord for the main Wizards of Legends game. I thank you for taking your time in watching this tutorial, and also if you want to run this game. The game is really fun. I have over, I think, 50 or 60 hours in just a mere 2 weeks. I've done over 113 runs of this game. It's an absolute blast. The RNG in this game can be a bit annoying, but there's a bunch of categories that have less RNG needed for a perfect run. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and follow me on Twitch, especially on Twitch, because I'm trying to hit 100 followers. Thank you for your time, and I hope this was educational. I have been GamerFox500, or G3 for short, and I am done.